Hey everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Mindy if you're new here. I'm a homeschooling mom to 4 kids. In today's video, I'm going to talk about From Adam to Us. I'm going to give you an in-depth look and my honest review of this program. So we love the Notgrass History programs. This program has been super enjoyable for Ethan and I. Without a doubt, I'm going to be using Notgrass History for the rest of the time that my kids are homeschooling, all the way up through graduation. Ethan is going into 8th grade, and we're going to be doing part 2 in 8th grade. I'm already very familiar with how the program works because we did America the Beautiful in 5th and 6th grade, and then in 7th grade, we did part 1 of world history. So I'm really familiar with how the flow of this curriculum goes. And today I'm going to give you an in-depth look at what it's like. So it comes with 2 textbooks that are broken up into 2 different parts, part 1 and part 2. And in the first textbook, there are 15 units. And in the second textbook, there are also 15 units. So there's 30 units total for the entire curriculum. There is a map book, which is going to be like your geography. There's a timeline book. A student workbook, which correlates with every single lesson. This book called Our Creative World, which has stories, poems, documents, art, and architecture from world history. And then there is the answer key for the teacher. So the textbooks are the main component of the curriculum. And again, I said there were 30 units. Within each unit, there are 5 lessons. And so it will have a world biography, world landmark, God's wonder, our world story, and then daily life. They might not always be in this order, but you can count on those being in every single unit. So it tells you more about what these things mean. There is also a literature package that correlates with this curriculum. You can get these out of the library. That's often what we did. I did order the Fables of Aesop, so we actually have that. We read The Bronze Bow. I just took it out of the library. We read A Single Shard. Again, I took that one out of the library. And we haven't read any of the other ones thus far. There is one other component to this program that I don't have. I choose to do the student workbook with Ethan versus the lesson review, it's called. And I'll show you a picture of that right here. The lesson review is more along the lines of comprehension sort of a thing. It asks a question and then the student writes out an answer. And they have to go back in the text and find those answers. And while I think that is a great way to kind of determine whether or not your student understood the lesson, it's just not for us. I choose to do like the more like fun things. So the first thing that we'll look at is the workbook. This is the student workbook, and I have a visitor. What are you doing?
I made a lion.
You have a lion? Is that what you made?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the student workbook, and after the student reads the lesson, there is a workbook page for every single lesson in the book. Oh, I have another visitor. You gotta back up. Back up. Let me see. Oh, don't get your marker on my bed. This is Emma's creation. What is this, Emma?
It's for Halloween.
For Halloween. Each one of these workbooking activities is different from the next one. So this one here, you can see that this was from early on in the curriculum because it says lesson 2 up in the corner here. So this one was like a little figure out what goes in the blank. And then here is a little crossword, another crossword, and a word search. And then choosing which, they had to read the paragraph and then choose which one was the correct answer. Matching, more like fill in the blank. Okay, and I'm sorry guys, I just realized that I'm giving you like the answers, but I highly doubt your kids will come back and look for the answers here. I can flip to some that don't have the answers in them that we haven't done yet. So like for instance, this is lesson 96, Queens and Kings of England. They're gonna fill in the blank. Over here, the student is going to choose which one from the bold words. They're gonna circle the correct one. True or false, and then a crossword again, word search, and then matching.
One of the things that we really love about this curriculum is that there is so much flexibility. You can go as in-depth as you want to. You can pick and choose the activities that you want to. There is a plethora of activities in this curriculum, and so you get to pick what is best for your student. It's super flexible. There are a lot of components to this curriculum. You don't have to buy them all. You can choose to get the map book or not. You can choose to get the workbook or the lesson review or neither one of them. You can choose to read the selections in the Our Creative World book or not. It's really up to you. I'm going to show you an example of a lesson and we'll see what components are suggested to do at the end of the lesson. Now, every single lesson is not going to suggest the same activities. The only thing that is the same every single day is the student workbook.
Okay, so this is lesson 8, the Pyramids of Egypt, and you can see this is the world landmark theme. So your student will read the text, and the pictures in this curriculum are gorgeous. It's just another reason why I love this program. So they read the text, okay. We're reading still. Okay, and then we get to down here. It'll say assignments for whatever the lesson number. So you can see there are a variety of things that your student can do. It does suggest reading an ancient account of Egypt from Our Creative World on page 4. So let's take a look at that. So in the timeline book, it says in box 8 on page 2, write, pyramids are built in Egypt. So here is the timeline book. And when you flip it open, it'll give you the numbers off to the side here of these boxes. Lesson 8, pyramids are built in Egypt. And you can see that each box correlates with the lesson number. Here is the workbook page for the pyramids of Egypt. Then it gives you a suggestion to do vocabulary, write your own definition for each of these words: civilization, lifestyle, preserve, afterlife, circa. And then a creative writing component. You could even use this as part of your writing program. Imagine you are one of the people working on the pyramids of Giza. Write a journal entry of at least 3 paragraphs describing a day on the job, either an average day or a remarkable day.
If you really wanted to, you could correlate your English language arts program to go along with this program. So as you just saw in lesson 8, there is a creative writing component, and there's also a novel study component. Now, it doesn't give you a whole lot of comprehension questions for the novels. It does give you some questions for novels if you choose to read them, but it will say at the end of every lesson, read chapter 1 in the Bronze Bow. So for instance, this one here, the Switherby Pilgrims, I think it was. Yeah. Questions on the Switherby Pilgrims. It asks you 5 questions. I also do love that this history program is a biblical-based program. They have something called Thinking Biblically, in which the student will be looking something up in the Bible or correlating something in the lesson to the Bible. Let's look at another lesson that also has a map book component, a Thinking Biblically component, and a literature component.
Okay, so here is lesson 11. This is the start of a new unit also. So here's the text portion. This is all about Abraham and his family. And you can see that this lesson is pretty long. And then here we get to the end of the lesson, and it's going to give the assignments. And again, like I said, you can pick and choose what you are going to do, what you're going to have your student do. So they can read Babylonian herding contract on page 7. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so in our creative world, here's page 7, Babylonian herding contract. Okay, and then it gives a little picture. So you'll notice for the timeline component, it tells your student exactly what to write. So all they have to do is flip open their timeline book, find the box that correlates with their lesson number, so lesson 11. It gives you the time or the year, and the student writes what the text tells you to write. Map 4, the lands of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I personally love this map book because it also highlights on geography. So this is going the landscape way. So here's for lesson 4, and you're going to want colored pencils for this. So your student is reading instructions and then doing exactly what it says. And then here is the map. The student workbook for lesson 11 was the family tree of Abraham. The Thinking Biblically, write a one-sentence description of each of these people: Abraham, Sarah, Ishmael, Isaac, Rebecca, so on and so forth. And then the literature component, read chapter 1 in the Golden Goblet. There are 3 more components that I haven't talked about yet, and those are the unit tests, the family activities, and the online activities. So the unit tests occur after every 5th lesson, and like I said, there are 30 units in here. And so you can, again, choose to do these unit tests or not choose to do them. We usually do them because I feel like it's just another final wrap up of what my student has learned, and so I'll show you what those look like. So the unit tests are in the back of the student workbook, and I assume they're probably in the back of the lesson review as well if you choose to get that instead of the student workbook. So it'll give you the unit number of the test that you're going to do, and these are basically you choose the correct answer or you fill in the blank and choose your answer from the box. So here's an example of a couple. At the end of each unit, they have something called family activities. So for unit 4, you are making sticky bricks Stonehenge, which is basically Rice Krispie treats. It gives you the instructions on how to do that. And these are always different activities, and these are always things you can do with your entire family. This one is a trader's game, so it tells you what supplies you need, how to prepare it, how to play it, and what each thing does. This one is an album of profits. So you're doing 1 profit per page. And here are some of the profits you could choose. This one is an Aesop fable where you are acting out the play as a family. The last thing I'm going to show you are the online activities that you can do also. While I'm on the Notgrass History website, I want to show you the lesson review book. I don't have this, but like it says here, this features daily lesson review questions, literature review questions, and unit tests. So yes, the unit tests are also included in here if you choose to purchase this instead of the workbook. This PDF. So here's an example from lesson 15. Like I said, it's you ask a question and then your student writes an answer on the line. Okay, so this is what it's like for the entire lesson review book. Question, answer, question, answer. So I'm looking at the Notgrass History website. This is where they used to have like additional videos and things like that, links to other things, and it doesn't look like they have the additional things anymore. Like I cannot find them anywhere, and it used to be really easy to access. I wonder if they got rid of that. If you find it, please let me know because I thought it was a great resource, but must be they got rid of it. Sorry guys.
So if you use this curriculum from Adam to Us, I would love to know down below in the comments. Let me know how you did it. Did you split this up into 2 years like I do? Do you just do the whole thing in 1 year? Do you do all the components? Do you do some of the components? Again, I love this program because it's so flexible and you can choose what you want to do with this program. Thanks for sticking around, and I hope you'll consider subscribing for future content.